Hey, it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful, empowered harmonizers. We are zooming in and focusing in on a great viewer question, and that is, how do I survive this female psychopathic relationship? This is a intimate relationship, and this person has me reeling and spinning. I am really agitated. How do I survive all the mind games? So when it comes to surviving a relationship with a female psychopath, I don't want you to just survive. I want you to thrive. But oftentimes you have to go through the process of recognizing what you're dealing with and understanding it on an intellectual as well as an emotional and physiological basis. So you really have to understand the levels of impact when you're talking about a female psychopathic relationship. It's just not a matter of the heart. It's just not a broken heart. It's just not a shock. It's not just things didn't go as planned. It's just that things didn't work out. It's that you're dealing with somebody. If you're dealing with a female psychopath, you're dealing with somebody with an absence of conscience, which is very difficult oftentimes for people to grasp and understand and get their hands around, because people really feel that, one of the predominant traits of a female, especially when it comes to relationships, might be the presence of a conscience, meaning right or wrong, meaning having direction. It's always thought that a female psychopath, the female in a relationship sort of heads up specific things in the relationship. These might be stereotypical roles. These might be, just completely part of instinctual and part of the physiological and physical differences of a female. But it's usually thought that there are certain roles that a female should take, and particularly that is one of nurturing, caring, having a warmth, having just sort of this nurturing, soft side, the sentimental side that belong to quote unquote the divine feminine, the female. And so a lot of people, knowing that to be the case, is part of your kind of inherent social psychology, is to understand that that's part of the reason why it's so difficult for people to understand and survive or thrive through the relationship with a female psychopath, because oftentimes people feel the inherent qualities of a female involve having a conscience, having a side of, a right or wrong, especially when it comes to physical intimacy. Usually it's, the a male, traditionally in movies, in music, in art, the male is the one who, isn't as conscientious as you will, if you will, doesn't have a, that sort of moral obligation to their physical body the way that a female does to carry a child. So there's all these sort of anecdote stories and principles that sort of are part of the understanding, I would say, of the group psychology, the collective unconscious, what Jung talks about, Carl Jung, talks about, which is just part of, which has just been built up of, through, millennia and millions of years, which is the quality of the female, that would stay home, take care of the child, would be more sensitive to their needs. The whole idea that they direct the course oftentimes of their diet, their religion, their chores, all these are part of the collective unconscious, and part of, I would say it's in the male and female, psychology and philosophy, that they wouldn't be capable of not having a conscience. So oftentimes that has to be reconciled within the individual. You have to realize that this is a force to be reckoned with. This is just not a heartbreak. This is just not, a fluke. This is just not, what other people might just think is, time will heal all wounds. They don't understand that a female psychopath will play a lot of mind games, a lot of word salad, particularly that with trying to distract and sort of just sort of chop up oftentimes the natural emotional flow or emotional meaning that people follow in their conversation and then in their relationships with a female psychopath. So a lot of this can be truncated. So you have to realize that a lot of the lines of thought, and the decision making, the violation of boundaries, you have, and a lot of people say, well, this person was the boss in the relationship. Be very careful that you are not bossed around by this individual, that you are not being pushed around, that you are not violating your boundaries intrinsically or extrinsically, meaning emotional boundaries or physical boundaries. This is going too far. Oftentimes you might have been too generous with them, too tolerant, too lenient, or you just couldn't believe the red flags. You wanted to deny the red flags. Everything else was so good, so you were willing to cut it some slack. So really being able to tighten up and reviewing when this boundary violation had taken place, be willing to put a foot down as a man, as a woman, to say, this is what happened, and I know this to be the case. And sort of take back your boundaries, take back your personal space, take back your personal voice, take back your body, your emotions, your conscience, your integrity, your self-respect, and your ability to forgive. And also, releasing just sort of the, I would say some more of the extreme emotions, particularly that of hatred, just sort of hostility, that, have you going crazy or have you on adrenal fatigue. This can cause you to be really hyper aroused. So you really, really need to understand how this creates a lot of fits and starts in the physiology, if you will. And it really, over time, I really do feel it can become very, I would say chemically damaging to the emotional psyche and body of the individual, the body, mind, spirit connection. So look at sort of when you're emotionally overheating or emotionally too cold. Look at these extremes. Begin to understand what is a character for you, and getting yourself back. Your future self, dear future me. Begin to write a little snippet. Thinking future me in mind. Really being able to embrace and fall in love with the new boundaries and standards, so you can keep that in the mind's eye and realize that when it comes to really surviving or thriving through a female psychopathic relationship, you really do need to work at the level of the subconscious and prime and make healthy and secure and confident the subconscious, the I am. That will help to reassert and redeclare your ground, your emotional ground, your physical ground, your spiritual ground. You need to understand the dimensions of this and really become sensitive and aware and protect this on a high level. So, you might have to watch this several times. You might have to catch yourself from when you're falling back, going too far down or too far up, and really begin to work in that calibration. Yes, it might take some time to recalibrate, but you will, and you'll become the stronger and the better for it. This is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, here today, and I hope that these videos do help. Please share, please subscribe, and please donate for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support. Peace out, peace in, peace be with you, and have a beautiful, beautiful day.